Hey everybody. Okay, so it is time for us to start our paper. And I know that some of you guys are probably freaking out a little bit just because you would rather be in class doing this all together, like I said we would be, and we're not all together, and you're going to have to be figuring it out on your own, and you're like, that's really going to suck. And I agree, that is unfortunate, but I'm going to do everything I can to make it easy in terms of being able to follow along and understand what's happening. I'm going to ask something of you right now. I really, really, really need for you to watch all the videos that I'm going to be making for you, okay? It is very important that you watch the videos. I don't know how in the world you'll do it without that. I really don't. So you have to be willing to sit down and watch the videos and do the stuff as I'm telling you to do it. Okay, so please, 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 please watch them. That's just my full-on plea right now. But I'm going to give you an overview of what we're going to be doing. So everybody is going to be writing a research statistics paper, and I have my screen shared with you guys because I have an example paper pulled up. I will be posting this example paper on Canvas, so you will have access to it. I'm going to just tell you that all psychology papers are done in what's called APA style. And APA decided in their most recent edition, which just came out, their 7th edition, to change a lot of stuff. And a lot of stuff's easier now, but for me, I'm unhappy because I have to like go in and change all of my models of things. So like this paper I'm sharing with you right now, I literally just had to go in and update it because it's not, my previous version was not right at all. So this is the APA 7th edition example paper. As you'll see here, I don't have a fun little title, and you don't have to have one either because this is just a research statistics paper. It's very basic, and our goal is just to make sure that we understand how to write up analyses and talk about them. I have my name, Department of Psychology, PSY 2080 Research Statistics, and then the professor, which is myself. So I put Dr. Ashley Allen, and then the date. Like I said before, I'm going to be posting this on Canvas, and I want for you to use this as your model. Okay, so when you sit down to write your paper, you download this example paper right here, and you edit it. Okay, so that's what I really want for you to be doing. It'll help you so much because it'll already be set up in APA style, and you won't be having to do that from scratch. Nobody should do that. Okay, so this is your example paper. It is here for you. Okay, so like I said before, this is a stats paper, which means that we're really not focusing on doing a big literature search. So we're not really going to have an introduction at all. For me, that made like this hypotheses thing a little complicated because the hypotheses, they're usually part of the introduction near the end. So instead, I just created this little section called hypotheses, but this is not a normal section in a paper. Like normally you would not have a section called hypotheses, but I had to add one. So that's what I did. Really, this paper starts with the method, which is basically us talking about what happened in this particular study, what we're investigating, what we care about. So this paper is going to be completely based on that survey that you took near the beginning of the year. It asked you tons of questions. It had a lot of personality variables in there. It asked you to rate like your how physically attractive you thought you were, your academic ability, your athletic ability. It asked you like to what extent you wanted to be seen as friendly. It had a lot of questions in it. So that's the data that we're going to be working with here. The participant section of the method is where you describe the people who are taking the survey or who are participating in the research. And for us, that's going to be you guys, because all of you took it, plus a ton of other research statistics students. And there will be a lot of information that needs to go here. And guess what? I told you right here, all the information you'll need. It'll all be in sentence format, just like a full paragraph describing the participants. But the challenging part is obviously that you have to go find all this information, like how many men were there? How many women? What's the age range? What's the mean age and the standard deviation? What are the percentages for ethnicity, the percentages for exercise? What's the GPA range, the mean, and the standard deviation? So all that information is going to be in our data file, and you're going to have to get it. Down here in the measure section, this is where you describe all of the measures that are in the survey. So you'll have a whole assignment on this to do this part of your paper, and it's probably the measure section is the longest part of the paper, so you'll just really need to set aside some time to do it, but it's not hard. It's just doing it and making sure you know how to do it. The videos that I'm gonna make, I think I might actually have some already made, but so important here. So please make sure that you follow along with them. I'll cry if you don't watch them and then are like, I don't know what to do. There's a video for that. So, okay. But these are all the questions that are in the survey. So I'm going to kind of skip down to here. Procedures, where you tell the reader like what it is the participants actually did. Y'all didn't do that much. You just took a survey online for like participation credit. So that's all you really need to say here. Like research statistics students completed an online survey for participation credit, and that would be fine. Our results section, we'll definitely have some videos here because you'll have like 2 or 3 sentences under the independent sample t-test, and you'll have 2 or 3 sentences under the correlation. And then you have to do a little discussion where you discuss your findings. So you have like a little paragraph for discussing your first hypothesis, and then a little paragraph for discussing your second hypothesis. You will have 2 hypotheses in this paper. The first one will go with your independent samples t-test, and the second one's going to go with your correlation. If you keep coming down here, we will have some references to put in, and that's because 3 of the scales that we use have to be cited, so we have to put the reference for those. We'll have a table and a figure. And then at the very end, you will have an appendix. I need to take this out because we're not going to do a regression. So you'll have a t-test and a correlation that you'll be doing, and your appendix will be your actual output that you get when you do your t-test and your correlation. You'll basically have to, I'm going to say copy and paste it in here, but sometimes the copying and pasting doesn't work. So I'll show you a fancier way to do that later. Anyway, okay, so that's your overview of the actual paper and what that looks like. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna pull up the data set. Oh, it might already be up. Is it already up? Oh no, don't do it again. I'm trying to find it. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, so here's our data set. You've already seen it before because we did like a day with it earlier in the semester. Not too long, but you might want to go in and just refresh yourself on this data and what it looks like, the whole data view where you can see all the data versus the variable view where you can see all the variables. Okay, now, big question here is how do you open this data file? SPSS is not a free program. In fact, you cannot actually even buy it. You sort of buy a lease for it or rent it for a period of time. I think it might be like $60 for a year. I think that's right. And I don't want anybody to have to go out and do that. So UNCP is offering what's called remote access to SPSS. Now, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to download this program called VMware Horizon. So let me pull it up here. There it is. VMware Horizon Client. So you're going to have to download this. All right. And when you download it, I'm going to just click on it and see let's see what it says when it pops up. Okay. So when you download it, it's gonna prompt you to basically log into your Brave Web account, essentially. Okay. But what's happening here is you're gonna put your password in, you're gonna log in, and what it's gonna do is it's gonna basically send you into a desktop on campus. Okay. And it'll pull up, it'll be just like you've just logged into a desktop on campus. You will need to click on the remote lab icon that you see. It'll say remote lab. There'll be a couple options, but remote lab is the one that you want. Once you click on that, you'll be able to see IBM SPSS statistics, and you'll be able to open it and get into it. You'll also be able to, go on a Canvas, because that's where all your files will be from me. So like you could download the original data file from there, and it should just pull up on this desktop that you logged into. The biggest issue that I foresee happening is that number one, I think the sessions might time out. So you might get kicked out a bit. And I think if you log right back in, it'll send you to the same desktop you just logged out of, and it'll have your work there. But if more time has passed, you'll lose everything. Okay. So it's very important that as you're working in SPSS and you're doing stuff, that you find a way to save things in like a cloud-based format while you're working in it. Okay. So for me, if I were to do this, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to log in. I'm going to pull up my Google Drive. Okay. Pull up Canvas, pull up SPSS, pull up my example paper, got all my stuff open. And then as I'm doing stuff in SPSS, and I'm just be constantly saving the files into Google Drive. Okay. You'll also have access to your iDrive, I think, on there. But don't just save anything directly to the computer, because the problem is you won't get that same computer every time you log back in. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So if you have any issues with that, let me know. I'm not gonna log in right here, because if I do that, I think I might lose this video session. So I'm gonna cancel it. Look, it's like download and install me. Okay. Go out. Go away. Okay. So I'm going to do so many videos talking about all this stuff, but this was just sort of an introductory video to kind of show you what we're going to be doing, give you an introduction for the paper, and also to show you this data again so you could kind of see what we're working with, and also show you how to get into the desktops on campus so that you can actually analyze this data. So I'll try to type out some instructions as well, but at least this will get you started if you haven't already downloaded the VMware Horizon, then you need to do that soon. Okay. I don't know how to stop this recording. Oh, I found it. Okay.